if you don't know where to begin, better ask Win.
Shane, good to see you. We are diving into the headlines today. A popular financial guru proposes an 8% withdrawal rate. We're going to talk through whether that is realistic. So recently, Dave Ramsey, who is a well-known financial expert, I put it in quotes, dismissed the common advice of a 4% withdrawal rate, instead advocating for an 8% withdrawal rate. Of course, the financial world exploded upon this advice. What do you think?
Well, Dave Ramsey's ultimately an entertainer. He's not an advisor. And so therefore he can kind of say whatever he wants to try to grab the headlines. And when he said 8%, of course, everyone goes, oh my God, that's so opposite to the 4% rule that we've always followed so closely. And of course, something else too is that Dave Ramsey does always recommend that you put your money in mutual funds. And therefore he's kind of self-promoting in that avenue as well. But overall, 8% is a very high number to get from your portfolio every year. And I think I would agree with a lot of other advisors in saying that that's a pretty unsustainable figure to realistically assume that you can take from a portfolio.
Yeah, we're going to dive into that in a second. But I was surprised because Ramsey also recommended that retirees invest all their assets in equities. Wouldn't that be exposing them to a lot of risk and market volatility?
It would. And I think, again, this is kind of an attempt to grab the headlines, which I think it successfully did. But of course, as we approach the retirement red zone or we get into retirement, you're asking your money to do something it's never done for you before. You need it to stick around, to be there for you, maybe to provide you some income, right? And equities are not necessarily the best place to do that. Typically, those are for earlier in life when it's all about growth, growth, growth. And so, yes, that would be a very risky thing that would expose retirees in retirement. And again, that's a strange point or a strange recommendation to make.
So when could an 8% withdrawal rate be sustainable?
Well, if you think that your portfolio can make that up every year, of course, if you're taking 8%, you need to be making at least 8%. Otherwise, you're going to start, sucking down your account. If you think you can make that money every year, year after year, without giving up any losses, perhaps it is theoretically possible. But of course, we live in a world like we do. Early August 2024, we saw a pretty rocky point in the markets. And if we think things like that could happen again, that's going to make that 8% pretty difficult to achieve.
Right. And the market does not move in a straight line up. Got to keep that in mind. So as you mentioned, the general rule of thumb is a 4% withdrawal rate. But even this number is under debate. Why?
Well, a lot of experts are saying it could be even closer to a 3.5% rule now. Of course, we see a lot of inflation. The cost of living is going up and up and up. But market volatility is also going up, and things are a little bit uncertain in the world. And of course, the more you take out, the more you have to make. And it's just kind of a cautionary thing to say, okay, maybe a little less is a little bit more wise to make sure your money lasts as long as you do, and that it sustains you through retirement.
So what percentage then are you recommending to clients, and how often do you revisit that number?
We typically start right around 4%, but it really does depend on the individual and their situation. You want to make sure you plan kind of around that and accordingly. So 4% may not be the exact figure for everyone, but you do, of course, want to revisit this every year, make sure your plan is performing to your expectations and doing what it needs to do for you.
Yeah, no cookie cutter answers here. So Shane, if somebody would like to crunch the numbers with you and figure out their own unique withdrawal rate, what's the best way to reach you?
Best way to reach us is online at winstonandcompanies.com or via phone here at the office. 602-456-1928 is our office number.
Great. Shane, thanks so much.
Thanks, Erin.
Got a plan for your retirement, because you know it's just down the road. But if you don't know where to begin, better ask Win.